It is so special to be here with you all on Easter. Easter is a very strange holiday that has such obvious connections to its pagan ancestry that it's wild. And it's kind of an amazing. I thought about doing the sermon on eternal life because I think that's pretty cool. But I'm really happy that I'm going to be able to deliver this sermon to you about how to change the world in your sleep. So I do have a picture to show you. Let me pull it up here. Okay. Lately, I've been talking about the singularity. If you're on Instagram, I'm sorry you can't see it. You have to go to YouTube. Lately, I've been talking about the singularity and what this means. Last Camp Church was about the singularity and having the energetic. Trying to figure it out. Having the energetic ability to navigate the singularity in this case. I did an art piece recently, if you look on my Instagram, called Choose Your Reality, and it's a black and white spiral, and in the white spiral are positive things, and in the black spiral are negative things. We're going into this space of positive and negative energies just mixing all together, and we get to choose what it is. What I understood last night is that it's a little bit more complicated than just black and white. Black and white thinking is the old world of thinking. So if you look at this chart that I made, the duality spiral is actually the idea more clearly. The black and white spiral is the idea of duality. It's the idea of us versus them. And that's what this tattoo actually represents, this Unitopia tattoo. It's this black and white spiral that erupts into a rainbow of utopian paradise. It's saying, the most obvious way to explain it is like, there's not two genders. It's like you're black or you're white. It's not true. There's a spectrum of gender. That's just one example. Our entire reality has been operating on this dualistic understanding of reality, which is not true. So we've got the black and white spiral, it's a brainwash, which is why I always draw it in a spiral. And that's a lower form of reality. That's us versus them. That's black versus white. That's evil versus good. It's all of that. Not that that kind of thinking doesn't have its place or its value, but just that it's not good to reside there. And as we go into this total understanding that those two spiraling energies actually converge to a single point of unity, then we enter into the rainbow. And what the rainbow is a spectrum of light. The rainbow is the potential for a gradient reality to exist. The rainbow is the idea that each person operating on the truth of their own heart, on the truth of their own frequency, is in harmony with divinity. That each person's unique self, each person's unique heart is what should be presented and what should be thriving and what should be nourished. So when we look at this chart, you've got a little guy there, and the little guy is going and he's exploring the spectrum of frequency. What my guides told me last night is that the singularity isn't just an experience, it's actually an increase of frequency. It's an increase of what the abilities are for us to our band of frequency is expanding. So we've been talking a lot about how to see frequency. I've been talking to you a lot about the colors of the rainbow and how we're going to start seeing new colors. And the reason why we're seeing new colors physically is because it's not just because our own consciousness is expanding, but it's because the energy soup is becoming more available to us. We're actually having a greater sense of spectrum availability to us. It's like when you're a kid and you're riding your bike and you're only allowed to stay on your driveway, and then you're growing up and your parents are like, okay, you can ride to the end of the block now. That's us as humans. So now we have the ability to interact with a wider variety of spectrums. At the top of this spectrum, it gets really ethereal, it gets really insane, it's beyond color, it's source energy, which is why I included the nebula reality. But I just want you to all understand when I talk about what it means to go through the singularity reality, I want you to understand that this is an increase in what frequencies are available to us to explore. We actually have a wider berth. We have the whole block now to go up and down as we explore these things. One second, let me put the picture down. So what I was shown last night is that we are reality creators. We all know this. But when we talk about creating reality, it can be really confusing because Earth is a slow computer. Earth takes a very long time to reflect our desires back at us. It's absolutely true that when we expect certain things of reality, those things transform and create our reality. When I was younger, I had a lot of negative ideas about the world, and I thought, the world is chaos, the world is shit. I don't like anybody, people don't like me, and I repeated these patterns in my head, and it created that reality around me. Even if I had things in my life which were showing me the opposite of that, because my belief was so strong, I wouldn't see it. So our consciousness has the ability to shape our reality. Now, since I've gotten into a higher way of being, and I have more healthy thoughts, and I say, people value me, and I value people, and I'm happy, and life is meaningful, and I have purpose, and life has purpose, then those things are reflected back at me, and my life does truly transform into those things. This is something that we can all experience from our personal reality. What we focus on really does become our reality. So when we think about how slow Earth is, it can be really discouraging, and it might not be so obvious how you're creating reality. And I think that's why we've had so many strange ideas about manifestation and why manifesting things has been so confusing, and why manifesting things has been so hard. On one hand, a lot of spiritual people are trying to manifest something where the frequency band wasn't supporting. So it's like you're trying to use the internet and you're trying to go to a website that doesn't exist. And you're like, why can't I manifest this? I know it exists, but you know it exists in the future. You know it should exist. You know someone will create it. So you're trying to type in the web address and it's not going. A lot of spiritual people have been doing that for the last several dozens of years, saying, we should not have to work. We should all be valued for who we are. And we're typing that web address in, and there hasn't been a return because no one's built that website yet. And I'm just using the website to describe kind of what it's like when we're manifesting realities that we haven't previously had access to. The structure of our reality didn't include those things previously. But enough people doing it generates the desires, and we all work together to consciously create the domain and the website that we actually want to see. So we're now entering into a space where reality has expanded. More websites that we want to visit exist. More ideas, more manifestation potential exists outside of the framework, outside of the rigid structure that was previously afforded to us as humans on Earth. So we're entering into this beautiful, exciting time where manifestation is going to start to become pretty obvious, and it's still going to take a little bit of time. Certain things will take a day, other things will take 3 weeks, other things will take a year or 2 years. But for the most part, things are going to start really getting the ball rolling. There are certain ideas in this world which are so big and so deeply ingrained in old world thinking that it takes a lot of people to shift their understanding. When we're talking about the money system, for example, so many people have such deep-seated beliefs and feelings and emotions about what it means to have money and spend money and be worth something and attach their self-worth to money, that to change that system is more than an individual paradigm. This is a social reality that we all have to work on changing, and we do that by navigating the emotions inside of ourselves. So when we sleep, there's an aspect of manifestation, an aspect of reality creation that happens when we actually go unconscious. Sleep is very mysterious, and a lot of the things that we know about sleeping are that it helps us learn. Rats will go through a maze, and then they go to sleep, and they can run the maze better when they wake up. We get information when we sleep, and we also have a stronger sense of what Earth is actually like when we go to sleep and we wake up and we process information in our unconscious. What I was shown last night is that when we go to sleep, our subconscious and our conscious energy actually integrates on a quantum level with material reality, and it changes it. And the way that it does that is by taking all of our expectations, all of our understandings about the world, and it integrates it into this etheric field. So when you go to sleep, your consciousness basically gets uploaded to the global consciousness, to the earth reality structure consciousness, and it creates the world that you expect to see. This is actually happening every single night now that we go to sleep. This didn't used to be the case. We didn't have manifestation happening at such a rapid pace, but now it is. So since we're operating on a larger frequency spectrum, we've got every person uploading their expectations of reality to this overall structure, this overall picture, and we are in charge of creating our world. This has to do with our very obvious ways of what you think, what you say, what you do, how your hands shape the world, but it also has to do with what energy you bring to this global structure of the earth itself and the higher reality of global consciousness and the quantum entanglement of your consciousness with the earth itself. So we are reality creators, and your expectations of the world get uploaded and integrated into this simulation reality every night. You can change the world by going to sleep with a powerfully trained subconscious. You can actually change the world by going into trance states and meditative states and reprogramming your own expectation of reality. This will change your own life, absolutely, and it will manifest a new world, especially because we have a larger ability to influence a larger amount of spectrum realities of different frequencies, but also because you are interacting with physical matter itself and the conscious aspect of physical matter. Many of our scientific understandings are predicated on the idea that material reality supersedes conscious reality, that our consciousness is somehow this crazy miracle that comes from our physical bodies, and that the brain is just a structure, and that from that brain we get consciousness. But other scientists have proposed, and in Unicult we believe, that consciousness is actually the fundamental reality, that consciousness creates structure, that consciousness creates matter. And it's the way in Unicult we'd understand it is that it's not just your consciousness, otherwise if you forgot about something it would just disappear. It's the consciousness of all people, and there's also a sort of a consciousness generator of physical reality that gives things its own, things are infused with their own intention, and they're able to sort of outlast human consciousness for a time. That's something that I have a few videos about if you're interested in, and it has to do with dimensional reality, so you can search dimensional reality if you're interested in understanding that deeper. So the way that you can use this power the most responsibly is to go to sleep with a harmonized internal state and a hopeful understanding of the future. Your hopeful future is unfolding as you imagine it. Your hopeful future is unfolding as you focus on it. So one of the things that we don't necessarily realize is how often our third eyes are compromised and co-opted. When you go to sleep and you close your eyes and you see flashes of a show you were watching or a video game you were playing, that means your third eye has been compromised. That means that you are using the magical focus of your conscious visualization powers to think about a video game or a show. And I'm not saying you can't watch shows, I'm just saying pay attention to when your third eye is compromised and explore and experiment with ways of cleansing your third eye. If you play a video game and you play it right before bed, you probably will be carrying that energy to bed. If you play a video game and then you go take a walk around nature and you spend some time looking at the moon or the stars and you go back to sleep, you will be cleansing your palate in a way and not compromising your third eye. Your powers of visualization are essential to the process of building the new world. So when we're talking about creating the new world and your responsibility and your power to do so, all of the things I'm going to tell you about how you can do that are things that will absolutely benefit you and your life and create a really beautiful life for yourself, but they will also create a better world for everyone. So the first thing to do is to find harmony, internal harmony. This is the biggest thing we talk about in Unicult. We say begin within. Your own consciousness is the place where you have the greatest amount of power to affect change. It is no small feat to change your own consciousness. And if you can change your own consciousness, you can change your emotional reality. You're changing your vibration, and you're entering into a state of higher understanding and higher joy, and you're creating a higher vibration where things can actually flow much easier. If you think about being in a low vibration, being sad, depressed, angry, upset, that's like having a viscous fluid around yourself. You can hardly move, you can hardly do anything. Everything you try to do will be heavy and hard. As you get into a higher vibration of joy and happiness and your authentic passions of your heart, then you're entering into a less dense reality where things can come and go and things are much lighter and easier for you to manifest. So creating a sense of internal harmony is huge for manifesting the world that you want to see. This means notice when you're angry or upset. Notice when your energy gets disrupted, and address your emotions and address your negative beliefs. Address your beliefs that you think, oh, the world is very scary. Oh, the world is very dark. I'm not saying don't believe those things. I'm saying address it. Look at it rationally. Yes, we have a pandemic happening. Yes, martial law is happening. Yes, we don't know what's going to happen with the economy. These are all very scary things, and it's perfectly okay to feel scared and confused about it. But at the same time, notice how those feelings affect your reality. How can you address your beliefs, and how can you address your expectation of reality? If your expectation of reality is, oh, we're all gonna just start becoming violent and people are gonna come to my house with guns and we're gonna have to fight and there's gonna be zombies, like, you are operating on a fear-based reality, and you're uploading that fear-based reality to all of our consciousness, and we all have to deal with that. So what can you do? You can look at and you can find hope. You can find a hopeful future. What does that mean for yourself? What does that mean for the world? You say, wow, things are really weird right now and confusing and scary, but this is also a great opportunity for us to change the world. This is also a great opportunity for us to restructure society to be highly beneficial for every person. Please focus on your hope. Do affirmations every day verbally. Do them when you look in the mirror. Write them down. Put them up on your walls. Tell them to your friends and family. Affirm a positive reality. Post them on social media. I believe in a hopeful future. The world is unfolding to be bright and beautiful for everyone. This is the transformation that we have been waiting for. This is the transformation that we need. All of these broken systems will restructure into Unitopian paradise. Whatever your affirmations need to be, focus them in, dial them in, and repeat them. Not while overlooking your feelings, but transform your feelings of being scared and afraid into hopefulness. Imagine this reality in detail. And when I say imagine the reality you want to see in detail, the sky's the limit. Like, if you look at your life 6 months from now, if you look at your life 1 year from now, how would you like it to be? How would you like it to exist? Imagine it in such vivid detail that you can feel it. In this way, we will be manifesting the new world. In this way, we will be creating systems in our body that when we go to sleep, we upload them into the global consciousness. Imagine your new reality in such vivid detail that you feel it, and avoid negative reality confirmation. You can be aware, but transmute it. If you have someone in your life who every time you talk to them and they're like, the world is ending and this is so terrible and I hate Trump and I hate the reality and we're all sick and we're all going to die and the economy's going to die, it's like all these negative ideas. If you have to listen to that and take that on, or even just watching the news, and you get overwhelmed and you feel your internal state changing, do your best to transmute it. Do what you can to harmonize that. If it's a friend or a family member, try to introduce some hopeful affirmations to them and say, maybe some of these things are true, but also maybe this is a great opportunity for us to have psychic development and to rise into a state of paradise for everyone. And a lot of people won't want to hear that, so you need to be able to set your boundaries energetically with that kind of energy. How much are you watching the news? How much does the news affect you? How much are you watching conspiracy videos? How much do they affect you? Notice your internal harmony. And again, notice your third eye and when it's been compromised. So there's some key times that you need to really focus on creating your reality. And these key times are right before bed, and if you wake up, sometimes I wake up anxious in the middle of the night. That's a time of great manifesting power. If you get up to get a glass of water and you are laying back in bed, see where your internal state is, see where your energy is, and try to focus your energy. And when you wake up in the morning, and also when you're going through your day and you realize you're kind of in a trance. Sometimes we get on our phone trances, sometimes we watch TV for too long, sometimes we spend too long on the couch, sometimes we're just like in a trance and our energy is in a more subconscious state. These are all points in time when your subconscious is actually operating with the larger picture. So the energy that you bring to these times is essential for your own well-being and for the well-being of the world. When you are in these times, these key times before sleeping, when you wake up in the middle of the night, after waking, and in the parts of the day when you're in a trance, and also when your emotions get agitated and you get a little bit unstable feeling, then it's important to visualize the color violet. And that sounds like it's not going to do a big thing, but if you can visualize the highest color that you have ever seen, and I mean that in the sense of like, if usually for most people a black light represents the highest spectrum of light that our eyes can see, some people have been experiencing seeing colors of a higher frequency in the corner of their eye, in their sight, or in their third eye. If you have seen those higher colors, focus on those higher colors. Usually they're electric blue or electric purple. And if you focus on these higher colors and these higher realities, the way that it works is that this is the highest energy that we can see. This is at the top of the spectrum. By focusing our energy on the top of the spectrum in a tangible way, as in the way that we actually see, we're calling in the highest possible energy that we are aware of. And when you do that, that divine energy flows through your system, calming you, helping you trust, and giving you guidance. So when you're agitated, when you're in the middle of the night, before you go to bed, when you wake up, take a little bit of time, use this violet color, the highest color you can imagine, and let this color go through all of your system. Imagine it radiating around your whole body. Imagine it encasing your whole body, sparkling as flames, whatever feels best. And take some time to just bask in that energy. Beyond that, do your affirmations. I am connected to the divine. I know that my life is transforming in the most harmonious way. Every frequency that I am part of is aligned with divinity. And whatever you want to shape your future reality, I'm working towards, like, I have stability. If you feel like if you don't have financial or emotional stability, I am a stable person. I have stability. I thrive. I have abundance. I know that I'm creating abundance as I sleep. I know I'm creating abundance as I go about my day to day. Look up affirmations. The main thing about affirmations is that they just shouldn't have any kind of negative energy. You shouldn't have an affirmation that says, like, I'm not going to drink today. And I think if you are used to manifesting, you'll know that by repeating the words drink today, you're actually affirming that. Your words are creating the energy. So you have to acknowledge each word in your affirmations and understand that you can't use negatives. The negatives won't cancel out the energy. So you have to say something like, I feel good and sober and clear today. I'm going to be clear and sober today. Something like that is a good thing to focus on because it actually shifts your energy from being drunk to being sober, and that's where we want to reside. So you absolutely can change the world from your sleep. It just requires a lot of wakeful work. And the waking work is about aligning your energy and knowing how to go into these trance states. Download a meditation app. Do the meditations on the Unicult YouTube channel. We're going to be adding more. The Unicult members, the Unicult devoted members are working on new meditations. I recommend meditating every day right now with the highest vibrational meditations you can find the ones that resonate with you most deeply. Because when we practice meditating, what we're doing is we're practicing keeping our resting state in a high frequency. And so by practicing with meditation, we're actually going into a trance, we're keeping our vibration at a high frequency for a short amount of time, and that is actually upgrading the reality consciousness greatly. Let me just check out some of these comments. Make America glitter again. Love it, Carmen. Sir Kingsley. You are all amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me for Cam Church, and thank you for the donations. Thank you for your attention. Please, again, I beg of you to watch some of the more recent YouTube videos. One of the ones that I think is most important is how to really see frequency. I think I titled it "How to Really See Frequency, No Drugs Required." And I think that when you watch that video, you'll get a better understanding of what I'm talking about here today, and the expansive nature of how our consciousness will be integrating onto this greater field of existence than we previously have experienced. So we'll see you next week. Have a happy Easter, and Uni bless.